Well, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and today is September 26th. And today we're going to be talking about the Sermon on the Plain. I can't talk here. The Sermon on the Plain, the counterpart to the Sermon on the Mount. We talked about it a little bit yesterday and leading up to it. So we are in Luke chapter 6. We're looking at verses 20 to 26 today, and we'll tackle the rest of the Sermon on the Plain over the next couple of days. Though this, just so you know, this will be the last for a little while of the actual me talking to you live. I have pre-recorded all the rest of the next 2 weeks daily devotions, and Clint will be posting those up for us. He'll come on and do a little bit of a live blurb each day while I'm away, and then he'll post a link to the YouTube video for that day. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and dive into Luke chapter 6, verses 20 to 26. And again, this is the Sermon on the Plain, not the Mount, Sermon on the Plain. Then he looked up at his disciples and said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, and revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for surely your reward is great in heaven, for that is what your ancestors did to the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you will weep or mourn and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for that is what their ancestors did to the false prophets." Okay, so as we know, this is sometimes or many times, and it is in the NRSV. This section is called blessings and woes, and it's kind of like for every blessing you have a woe, and he contrasts each and every one of those. So we'll look at we'll just kind of walk through those real quickly here. The first blessing is, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God." And then the woe, the corresponding woe is, "But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation." Now that word consolation there, it means full recompense, full compensation. You've been completely reimbursed, all right? That's what that means. And are we talking about here strictly, it can be partially, monetary? No, I don't believe that we are. This is not about monetary wealth per se, necessarily. It could be, and I'll try to contrast that if I remember to here. But we can be poor. We can be poor in spirit. We can be poor in our attitude. We can be poor in many things. Our faith walk. We can be really poor in our faith walk. Blessed are you who are poor. And that sounds strange to say that we're poor in our faith walk, but we'll lead into that when we get to the next part about being hungry. But I want to talk a little bit about the money issue. We oftentimes look at that as about, rich people are, they're all going to hell. Well, I've met a lot of really wonderful, devout, devoted, wealthy people, and I've met a lot of folks that had nothing and were way lost in sin. So let's not look at that and think that, rich people are damned and poor folks, they're saved. That's not what it's talking about. First of all, we have that whole faith thing, right? That kind of plays into this, and it's not about how much money you got, it's about how much faith have you got. Okay, are you rich in faith, or are you poor in faith? And are you full, or are you hungry? That's what's going on there, because the next part goes about, "Blessed are you who are hungry." You're wanting to be filled. And remember, we talked yesterday, and hopefully I explained it adequately. We talked about Jesus is healing folks, and that the earthly healing really is a metaphor for the heavenly healing. And of course, what he's talking about here is, if your focus is on what you've got in this world, okay, and not about what you've got in the next, then you're poor. That your poorness is catching up with you. All right, you're going to be in trouble in the next world if you think that you're all that here. I guess is what I'm getting at. If you think that you have everything you need and you're all doing great, whether you're self-confident, you're thinking that you can get by on your own, you're in trouble. You've put too much faith in your own self. You need to put faith in God. So blessed are you who are poor. You worry. We're not supposed to worry. forgive me on that one. But you're not putting your faith in God. Your poorness is because you feel like you've well, I'm losing myself here today. And I'm not going the way I want to go with that. Explain that. Blessed are you who are poor. You're constantly seeking. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Forgive me. Blessed are you who are hungry now, because you're constantly searching. You're trying to increase that. You're trying to feed yourself spiritually. That's the hunger part. Woe to you who are full now. You think you're full of it. There's where I was trying to go. You think you're full of it. You think you've got all that you need. You think that you can take care of everything. You are actually thinking you are rich, and you're actually, don't you realize that you are actually the one that's poor, ultimately. And that is what's going on. And blessed are you when people hate you. Well, that's getting those disciples. Remember at the beginning, he said he looked up at his disciples, okay? He's getting those disciples ready, because they're going to be dealing with some really harsh stuff. They're going to be persecuted, just like, they're going to crucify Jesus. What are you going to do to the disciples? So they are going to be dealing with some very difficult times coming up. And so he's saying, blessed are you when people hate you, because there are definitely going to be some times where people are going to hate them, and they're going to persecute them, or revile them, and they're going to defame them. But be wary of those that speak well to you of you. He's talking now to the Pharisees, isn't he? You who seem to be being held up, not necessarily all the Pharisees, but those that are abiding by the law, okay, and thinking that the law is all that. If you think that you're rich because you've got the law to protect you and all these fences around you, those fences aren't going to do you any good, because your ego is telling you you can live up to that perfect way of living, and nobody can. Nobody can make it to that mark. So that's where you need to be feeling that you are falling short, and you need to fall upon the feet of Christ. Okay, so that's where you feel poor. Coming back around to that. I think I've made a circuitous route today. Forgive me. It's Saturday morning. I'm a little off my game, apparently. But at any rate, blessed are you who are poor. Counterintuitive. Woe to you who are rich. Would have sounded really strange to the people then, because they always thought the people that were wealthy were the ones that were that meant God had favor on you. And the idea is here that you need to constantly be trying to walk closer with God. You need to have that hunger. You don't feel like, oh, I've got the law and I just, I am all that. You need to search for more. So with that, I'm going to cut you off today. Tomorrow is church. I don't know whether we'll be in or out. It's going to depend a little bit on the weather, and we'll let you know in the morning. Forgive me. Last Sunday we forgot to send out a one call, but we'll try to do that tomorrow to let you know whether we're going to be in or out. Okay. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you in the morning. All right. Bye-bye.